In this episode, you'll learn the best settings for exporting your images for the web. Hi guys, what's up? It's Johnny here and welcome to another episode of the JSP Show. And this week I'm totally pumped because we're going to go through the best settings and workflow for setting up and automating Lightroom and Photoshop for exporting your images for the web. Now, before we start, I quickly want to tell you about this image here. I recently just purchased a second-hand D7000 water housing, an SPL housing it is actually. And this was my first shoot, just playing around in the pool. This is my daughter Aisha just swimming at me underwater, blowing bubbles out, and I just thought, such a cool image. I got to use it this week. It's too cute. It actually looks like she's got a little beard, a bubble beard. Cool. All right, let's get into it. So guys, we're in Lightroom. We're ready to go. This image has been edited down. I'm going to hit Command-Shift-E to bring up the export panel, or I'm going to go up to File, Export. So there's two ways to get there, Command-Shift-E or Export, File, Export in the menus. So let's hit that. All right, guys, first thing we're going to do is run through the settings. So when I'm exporting for the web, I just like to drop stuff on the desktop. But if you hit choose there, you can browse to any location you like. It's just the desktop's easy for me to grab and do what I've got to do on the web. And then usually, honestly, I just delete the file after I'm finished with it, after I put it up on the web. Okay, file renaming, not going to do anything. Video, not going to do anything. File settings. Now, this is extremely important, guys. We want to choose JPEG, obviously, for the web. And the color space, this is really, really important. All right, so you can see I've selected sRGB here. And the reason why we use sRGB color space for the web is it's the most suitable color space for the web. Most browsers will display your images in sRGB anyway, even if you put them up as Adobe RGB or ProPhoto. So sRGB is definitely the best setting. Now, I'm going to crank this down a little bit, maybe to around 80. Bring it back just a touch, because that'll just bring the file size down and get the upload a little bit quicker. It's not a big deal, but it'll just, if you've got a slow connection like I do at home, it's pretty craptastic. Yeah, bringing it down a little bit, it'll just bring that file size down. Next thing we want to look at is image sizing. So I'm going to resize to fit the long edge. And I always like to do it around 2,000 pixels. 2,000 pixels is more than enough for the web. It's fine, you know. Yep, that's just what I recommend. And why I select the long edge and not one of these other settings is whether the image is in portrait or horizontal, it's just going to choose the longest edge and make that 2,000 pixels, and that's what I want. All right, resolution, I'm going to stick it around 72. Obviously, you know, honestly, I've tried, you know, exporting to the web at 240 or 300. It doesn't make too much difference. Resolution and pixels per inch or DPI really comes into play when you're printing. That's where it's really important. But look, they recommend 72. I can't physically notice a difference, and it doesn't make much difference to the file size. So, you know, but let's just stick with 72 for now. Now, I always sharpen for screen, and I like to do the high amount. That's just what am I thinking? That's just automatic sharpening that Lightroom will do on exporting. I find it's like, obviously I sharpen in Lightroom and I do my initial sharpening there. This is just output sharpening, and the settings I've found to be the best are screen at high. So I'd recommend you use those. Now, my watermark, these is another thing I've set up as a preset. We might get into that next week. Let me know in the comments if you're keen to hear about setting up your watermarking in Lightroom as a preset. Anyway, I've chosen the right, so it's going to be the right bottom corner, and it's going to be the white watermark, and that'll suit this image fine. All right, no, nothing in post-processing. That's it, guys. I'm going to put it on my desktop. Image format's going to be JPEG. Color space has to be sRGB. I'm going to bump that quality back to about 80, just to bring that file size down. I'm going to resize to fit the long edge at 2,000 pixels, the resolution around 72. I'm going to sharpen screen. I'm going to use a high amount, which I like. I think it gives the best results. And watermarking, I'm going to watermark using one of my presets. So that's it, guys. The last thing I would say to do would be to create this as a preset. So next time you come, you can see a couple of my presets up here in the left. We've got the one for DPS and a couple of web ones that I've played around with different settings. Now, I'm going to just, down the bottom left here, if I hit the add button, I can just call this preset whatever I want. And I'm just going to call it JSP-web, because it's the one I did for this. And I hit create. And next time I come back, all I need to do is hit that preset, and all these settings here, everything, including, you know, everything I've made with the location, everything, is going to be one click, and I hit the export button, and that's it. Your image is going to be ready for the web. Totally amazing. Totes. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. Anyway, let's hit the export button, and let's have a quick look at that image. I'll wait till that's done there. Lightroom's, there we go, she's done. Okay. So this be the final resized image. And let me bring up the information here about this shot. And you can see my watermarks there in the bottom right corner. Let me bring up the information about the shot. Let's have a look what it's done. So there you go, guys. It's only about half a meg, 400K there, 435K. You can see at the long edge here, it's 2000 pixels. And the color profile is now sRGB. So that's it, guys. Absolutely epic. Too easy. Peasy. Japanesey. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, too easy. You know what I mean. Let's jump over to the Photoshop and run you through a similar workflow. And actually, Photoshop takes a bit longer. So if you're a Photoshop user, yeah. Anyway, it's all good. I love Photoshop. It's just, yeah, everything just takes a bit longer. But so what we're going to do is set up an action, guys. Actions are the bomb, basically. It's going to allow me to do that same one-click process that I just set up in Lightroom, that user preset there. All right, so Actions panel, I've got it open. If you haven't got your Actions panel open, go up to Window and click on Actions there, and it'll bring up the panel. What I want to do here in the right drop-down is I want to go New Action. And, oops, it popped over on my screen. Oop, there it is. Okay, so let's just call this one Web. I'm just going to call it Web. And let's just give it a pretty color red, just cause. And I'm going to record it. Let's do it. Okay, so once we've done that, over here on the right, Action, New Action, and call it Web, and I'm going to hit Record. And we're awake. So everything we do now, Photoshop is going to record, and later on, with one tap, you're going to get that done. All right, the first thing I want to do, guys, is go up to File. I want to go down here to Convert to Profile. So here you can see it's in Adobe RGB. I'm going to drop that down to sRGB. So that was in Edit, Convert to Profile, sRGB. Then I'm going to hit OK. So that's the first step done. We're going to convert to sRGB. Second step is to resize the image. So I'm going to go up to Edit. And I'm going to, no, I'm not. I'm going to go to Image. I'm going to go to Image. Image size. All right, and you can see the long edge is obviously the width here, so I'm going to make that my 2000 pixels. And in the resolution, I'm going to drop that down to 72. And I'm going to take that back to 2000 pixels. So yeah, the moral of the story of this, do the resolution first and then do your longer side, whether it be the width or the height next at 2000 pixels. I'm going to hit OK. So our image is now resized. Now the last thing we're going to do is go File, Save As, and we want to make sure we choose JPEG in the bottom here. And we want to make sure, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I should have done this. Sorry, guys. I'm going to bring in my watermark. Boom. Drop in my watermark. And drop him in the corner there. So there you go. We just placed the watermark. And now I'm going to go to File. Save As. Oops, I can drive. File. Save As. All right, now we want to select JPEG. And now we want to make sure we're on the desktop, and I'm going to hit Save. Oops, and of course I've got the one there from Lightroom. So let me call this one Photoshop. I'll just call this one PS at the end, so we know this is the Photoshop export. So I'm going to hit Save, and it's going to bring up this. Now look, there is absolutely hardly any difference between 12 and 10 except the file size. So there's not much difference in quality, but it does bring the file size down. So again, bring that back to about 10. On the quality there, and I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to export, and is this the one? Yes, and here she is. This is the exported version out of Photoshop there, and I'm going to bring up the information for this one, and I'll bring that over, and you can see we're about 400 kilobytes, so half a megabyte. You can see we've converted the dimension to 2000 pixels. We are in sRGB, and that is now good to go on the web. That's it, guys. So, guys, you can see how easy that is. Actually, there's one last step, and I didn't stop the recording, so I hit this button here, the stop button, and there we go. And I also love the button mode. So I'm going to go into the button mode there, and you can see there's my web button there. So I'm going to undo everything I just did. So let me just go back. Let me undo all this stuff, and I want to show you how that action. Okay, so we're back to where we were. So if I hit this web button, let's see what Photoshop does. You know, tick along, boom, there you go, guys. So let me go back again. So everything I just recorded there in that action, if I hit the web button now, there it is, one click. Gotta love actions. Actions are absolutely epic. All right, guys, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the JSP show with a few settings. One last thing to tell you about before I run off. If you haven't heard about my free course called the Lightroom Traveler, it's valued at $19.95, and I'm giving that away for free. Check out this URL below in the lower third now. Yeah, guys, grab it while it's free because it's not going to stay free forever. And guys, if you've already grabbed it, I'd love to get your feedback on it. And also, let me know what you want me to talk about on the JSP show. I'd love to hear. This actually topic came up from one of my viewers, and yeah, epic topic, resizing images for the web. It can get confusing, so that's all. I'll put all the settings up at the end again, so you can see the main things you need to worry about are the color profile is sRGB, the longest edge around 2,000 pixels, and yeah, they're the main two things, guys. If you can get those two things right, you're 90% of the way ready. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week. Yeah. It's been another epic show. All right, guys, take care. Peace.